Hello, hello, hello. Oop, let me fix this. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. Hold on, let me see. Looks like my sound is working. That is good. Welcome to the live stream. This is my first time. Welcome to the stream. I hope the beginning wasn't too ridiculous. So first of all, make sure this is actually working. I can't tell if anyone can hear me. Anyway, welcome to the stream. So today we're going to be talking about some crazy stuff with the Royals. But first of all, let me send a big congratulations to my mom for her new job. Very exciting. Congratulations. I think you're never too late to start living your dream. So that is awesome. That is really awesome. Hopefully you can hear me. I can't tell if you can hear me. Anyway, welcome to the stream. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. First of all, how ridiculous. How ridiculous was it that Prince Andrew showed up at the memorial for Prince Philip? I did not see that coming. Absolutely ridiculous. Can you imagine? Can you imagine having someone like that in your family and like someone with dignity and respect, someone in your family passes away and you're like, you know what would make this even more dignified? Let's bring Uncle Touchy out. Let's bring Uncle Touchy out for the ceremony, because that's always what people want to see. I mean, excuse me, allegedly he's Uncle Touchy. I mean, nothing's been confirmed in court, I suppose. So anyway, I am brand new at this and I'm super nervous. I'm sure you can tell. Oh, good. You can hear me. I am sure I sound super nervous. I apologize for that. I am absolutely new at this. And let me just say for the beginning, let me talk from the heart. First of all, I have always wanted to get involved in commentary of some sort, but like, who the hell cares what I have to say, right? But I've always been told, a certain someone in my life told me that I have a voice for radio. So I figured, you know what, let's talk about some stuff I know about. And I can say I know a lot about royalty. I'm not sure if I'm proud of that or not proud of that, but the fact is I've spent years of my life learning about royalty. And so I kind of want to talk about what I know. And before we get into anything major, let's talk about how there are a lot of daily podcasts, which, by the way, let me tell you, I have a tremendous amount of respect for people who can go out and make a podcast every single day or make a live stream every single day about anything. I think that is really impressive. There's no way I could ever even promise to do that because it just takes so much work. Oh, good. You can hear me. Thank you very much. I am brand new to live stream, so this is like the first time. But I can see that you can hear me. That's awesome. That is awesome. You are welcome. You are welcome. In case anyone is wondering, that is my mama. I'm super proud of her today, and I know she's here. I know maybe no one will ever show up, but if you guys do, this is my mom. She's awesome and one of my biggest supporters. Thank you so much. Okay, so anyway, I kind of lost my place here. I'm new. I'm super nervous. Let me say that 5 more times. Anyway, so I've always wanted to talk about something I know about, you know, and I'd love to be like one of those people who could do it every day, but I want to do something that's a little higher quality. So hopefully, maybe about once a week is kind of what I'm shooting for. Just talk about whatever is going on. But one of the things I want to do that's a little bit different than the other people that I've heard, and I have heard people on both sides of the aisle as far as it comes with royalty, and I have a lot of respect for both sides of the aisle. You have your Sussex squad or your quote unquote sugars, the people who 100% support the Sussex family no matter what they do. And I have a lot of respect for them, and I can completely see their side of the argument. But then you have the other side of the argument of people who are maybe royalists, or maybe they support the Cambridges, right? Everyone thinks it's like a brother war. And I feel like someone needs to come in and have an opinion somewhere in the middle. So that's what I'm planning to do. Somewhere in the middle. I'm not pro Sussex, I'm not pro Cambridge. Somewhere in the middle. Try to have empathy for both sides. Because I think you're dealing with two sides who have a very difficult start in life. I can't imagine what it would be like to be born royal. Can you imagine? So I feel very sorry for Prince Harry, especially for all the stuff he's been through with his mom and his family and kind of being thrown in the middle of that. But I also have a lot of sympathy for William. And I guess I feel like, why can't everyone just get along? I mean, obviously they can't. Like, what a world it would be if we could all just get along. Anyway, that's not really the point today. So anyway, the point today is we're not going to crap. Hold on one second. We're not going to crap on anybody. We're not going to crap on anybody except maybe Prince Andrew. We might crap a little bit on Prince Andrew because he sucks. And a couple of the other senior royals kind of suck. And I think we should be talking about what led to this feud in the royal family, what led to these two brothers being against each other. And I guess that's it. That's what we're going to look at. So anyway, I am super nervous again, as you can imagine, but who cares? We're going to move on. So let's talk a little bit about the royal family. And so one of the things that kind of inspired me to start this in the first place was a couple weeks back, I was reading something about the royal family. Well, actually, I was just scrolling through my news, and you know how you get your news kind of catered to your phone based on whatever you click on. So eventually you kind of have this cultivated news source. And one of the news stories that popped up for me was about how certain members of the senior royal family were broke. That's the word they use. They're broke. We're broke. We have no money. We're broke. And I remember like a couple of years ago, the Queen came out with a speech about austerity, which would maybe have had a bigger impact if she hadn't been wearing one of those giant diamond hats, the crown. She was wearing like a £5 million crown on her head as she's telling you to save money. And it got me really thinking, like, I'm sure from their perspective, they are totally broke in comparison to, like, let's say 200-300 years ago, but especially like 200 years ago, back when the monarch, or when the empire, excuse me, it's not the empire, it's the Commonwealth. Back when the Commonwealth looked more like, hold on, I've got something, here we go. Back when the Commonwealth looked like this, when you compare yourself to that, I mean, I'm sure the modern monarchy is like really, really broke in comparison to that. However, these days, the monarchy looks more like this, right? So when they talk about being broke, this is probably what they're talking about. They're, they're comparing this, which is, what is that? Like at least 50-60% of the land on earth. You compare that to this, and yeah, that is gonna feel really broke. and like you're not getting the income that you used to get for sure. I mean, I can't imagine what the dollar difference is between this and this has to be insane. So I believe that they believe they are broke. But oh, we got a comment here. I totally agree with you. Let's all get along. But if we can't get along, let's laugh at the people who deserve it. But no, I'm totally with you on that. So let's take a look at what they consider being broke to be. So this is just one of the Queen's many residences. This is the residence she's been resigned to because she's older for sure. To be fair, she's older. And I will say that if I could have grass like that in my own yard, I would be so happy. It would be so nice because it looks great. It's beautiful. It really is. It's beautiful. Lovely. Absolute. The architecture is lovely, but I mean, can you imagine on the right here, on the upper right here, if that was your backyard? And then you imagine you have that as your backyard, and then you do like go to your friend and you're like, I'm broke. I'm broke. Okay. So let's take a look at, so she's broke. Let's take a look at what her children are dealing with, right? Because the Queen is broke. So is Prince Charles broke? Well, here's four of his main homes. Four of his, not, these aren't the only homes he owns. These are like his four main residences, which, I mean, they all look lovely. There's no question about that. But like, I can't imagine owning one of these and being like, I'm broke. I'm broke. Oh my God, I wish I was as broke as these people. Now, Clarence House, from my understanding, is in London and is a replacement for a home that was built by George IV during the Regency era. So after the fire of London in 1666, and a couple other fires that happened in London, I know that they were able to, or not able to, they had to rebuild the city. And one of the great accomplishments of George IV was essentially creating Trafalgar Square. And he created a road from the square, which is the opening of Buckingham Palace. He created that where basically there was this like road that went to his home. And after his home was torn down, Clarence House was built later on, but kind of in homage or in honor to this other house that was built, which was even more ridiculous as far as being broke goes. But anyway, that's his London estate. I'm not going to even lie, I would love to walk around Highgrove, the grounds of Highgrove House. It's absolutely beautiful. I can't even take that away from him. But broke? Okay. So this is Princess Anne, the second born, probably the one who should have been king. This is her Gatcombe Park, which does look lovely. And the one thing I will say about Anne is that it seems like Anne uses her property to host things a lot. Like she's actually someone who's like tuned in with the people, which is pretty cool. So I don't dislike that, but broke? Okay, sure. I mean, I guess that's broke in comparison to, like, I'm sure that the Rockefellers have a bigger home, or like Jay-Z probably owns a bigger home. I don't know if I call that broke, but we're going to go with broke. Right? Me too. I had no idea. I had no idea how much land these people actually owned. Not even that, but how much they actually rule over. So the statistic that I found out for the royal family, as far as how much land they actually rule over, is 1/6. It's actually over 1/6 of the entire space of the world. So as far as there's about 36 billion acres of land on planet Earth, and the Queen of England is the ruler and thereby owner of 6.6 billion acres of land. So that's insane. This woman owns over a sixth of the world. Well, I should say her Commonwealth owns over a sixth of the world, right? Because it's all separate or it's all the same, whatever. We're going to say it's different, right? So here's a little bit different. We got Randy Andy here. So Randy Andy is a little more controversial. And I actually meant to look up a little bit more information about Sunninghill Park, but I will tell you what I do know about it. So upon the wedding of Prince Andrew to the Duchess of York, oh my God, I'm forgetting her name now, but Fergie, of course, we all know her as Fergie. Upon the wedding of those two people, the Queen granted them this beautiful estate of Sunninghill Park. Now, my understanding is, and I could be completely wrong because, like I said, I didn't get a chance to look this up, but my understanding, allegedly, supposedly, maybe, is that these two people lived way, way, way beyond their means when it comes to, and I can't imagine what that actually would be like. Like, I live on a pretty small budget, and it's not that hard to live outside my means, and I can't imagine if I owned something like Sunninghill Park or the Royal Lodge that I can't imagine living outside your means. But anyway, they lived outside their means to the point that they eventually, now, this is the part where I'm not 100% sure, but as far as I know, they allegedly, supposedly rented or sold the property of Sunninghill Park to some people who were foreign, of possibly maybe not the most upstanding repute. And these people never moved into the residence, but they did pay a tremendous amount of money every month. And so you can see at the bottom left here, this is what that looks like now. So I can only imagine, can you imagine being given something like Sunninghill Park and 20, 25 years later, 30 years later, that's what it looks like? But of course, we're talking about Randy Andy here, so there's no surprises whatsoever. And I've heard some other things about Randy Andy now. From what I've heard about Prince Andrew, if you want to even call him that, he is not living in any of the, like, occasionally maybe he goes to the Royal Lodge, but essentially he's living under Mummy's roof. He needs to be with Mummy at all times because you never know. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Andy's definitely a kid toucher. Well, allegedly, supposedly, maybe. But that's certainly what the US government was implicating. But from what I've heard, he no longer has like really much of an income for himself. He's living under Mummy's skirts, very literally, like hiding under Mummy's skirts to from what I've heard, to escape. Like, this is a man who cannot leave the country unless he wants to run the risk of maybe getting arrested or at least getting questioned, right? So he ends up settling the lawsuit in the United States. So anyway, I've always wanted to check out the Royal Lodge. That looks like a really fun place. It's actually kind of architecturally boring in comparison to like some of the castles and stuff that they own are fascinating. So let's take a look at, real quick, just to finish off the children. So this is the Broke royal family. This is the youngest son, Edward, Prince Edward, and his wife, Sophie. I know, I know that in some circles she's known as Ford Fiesta, because she's, I think one of the things that Edward and Sophie tried to be is it was an answer to the glamorous Princess Diana and the glamorous senior royals. They were supposed to be this basically the Toyota Corolla of royal family people. I'm not sure if I would say that Bagshot Park screams, Ford Fiesta to me. But thank you, Sarah Ferguson. Sarah Ferguson, thank you. I could not think of her first name to save my life. I don't know why, but I wanted to call her Anna, but I know it's not. It's Sarah. It's Sarah Ferguson. And I like Sarah. I've always liked Sarah Ferguson. She has kind of a scandalous family herself, but like who doesn't? And I've always really liked her. Um, she just seems like she'd be a lot of fun. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, like I think that Camilla seems like fun too. Um, so they just seem like they'd be fun to hang out with. Just Fergie's always seemed pretty cool. I don't know. Uh, anyway, so here I just wanted to give people a taste of like these broke royals and how broke they are, or how maybe for them being broke is kind of it's relative. You're broke, I'm broke, we're all broke. I mean, the world is broke in comparison to where we were 5 years ago. Um, but if I could have something like Highgrove House, you know, can you imagine being able to live in Highgrove and have that kind of garden and there are really, really, really beautiful pictures of Diana and the boys and Charles in Highgrove. Um, it's obviously like a real home base for the family. I guess I should start by saying that out of the four children of Elizabeth, Charles is my favorite out of the four of them. And I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion. I'm not saying I like the guy, but I feel like if I was born into royalty, he and I would have the most in common as far as like what he finds to be a priority. He's going to restore some of these properties and use some of the land to actually grow food and just do some things that I think are kind of like novel, but also fun and like the good part of being wealthy in the modern era versus all of that tradition. And one of the things I know I wanted to talk about today real quick was about how the royal family has really put themselves in a very, very bad oh, 1 second. Okay. I guess the chats are coming in really slow, and obviously there's only one person watching me live right now, but I love you. But in the future, if you are watching this, I apologize if the chat is not syncing up. I'm 100% just this is totally free, 100%. My bad. So maybe when I pay for it, it'll work a little bit faster. I don't know. But I do appreciate it. And if you're watching in the future, I'm so sorry that if those aren't syncing up, but no control over that. But where was I going with this? I really like Prince Charles. I think comparatively to the rest of his family. But what I was going to say is that for the royal family, they are in a very difficult position right now because they come from a tradition that says that where they get their power from is this very traditional belief system of the crown itself represents God's authority. And so we get our power from God. And so this is what makes royal tradition so important and so unchangeable in so many ways, because the thing is, to the outsider, it could be very easy to say, why don't you just get rid of this part of it and this part of it and modernize it? But within royal circles, the entire place they get their power from is that traditional ritual, that traditional belief. So if you take a piece out of that tradition, you're kind of calling into question the entire tradition, right? So if you take, for example, one of the things that royals traditionally do is they inspect the troops, right? This is one of the things that Kate and William got into some trouble with because it was really, really bad optics, right? Kate and William are essentially they're sitting on a Range Rover, driving through lines of troops, and this sort of to the modern eye, this looks very colonialist and out of touch and like almost aggressive. There's an aggressive, warlike connotation to that sort of imagery. It's the kind of thing like I remember when Donald Trump got elected and he started doing those the military parades, which was like something no one had seen in a while, and people got like really nervous because what does that like what connotation comes to your mind when you see, a military parade or anything that even hints at being a military parade? The first thing that's going to come to your mind is terrible things. Colonialism, old school, like maybe at best you might be picturing World War II, but even then, you know who didn't get into a Jeep and drive past the troops on film? The American president. Like that that's not iconic to that side. It's iconic to another imagery entirely. So super out of touch and super scary to a certain extent for a lot of people. And I do think, one thing I'm not a sugar. And a sugar, if anyone doesn't know, is someone who is like a diehard Sussex fan, someone who thinks that the Duke of Sussex and his wife can do no wrong. I'm definitely not in that pool, but I'm definitely not a royalist. So I feel like there were things that Prince Harry was able to do that Prince William seems unable to do or unwilling to do. And I feel like you end up with this terrible imagery. I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring up, here we go. I'm learning. Stop that one. And one second. I am so sorry. I am completely illiterate when it comes to this stuff. So I'm just learning. Here we go. So yeah, this is the kind of imagery I'm talking about. Right? Like super bad optics. And the question is this all royalty has to offer, or were they wrong to ignore one of the more modern people in their families? I tend to fall somewhere in the middle where, I don't think these people set out to project to project colonialism. I can't imagine anyone would. Maybe that's me like hoping for the best, but I just can't imagine that these two people were like, you know what the best look for the family would be is if we looked just completely out of touch. But arguably they do. They're reaching through a cage. It's super bad. Anyway, I've lost where I was going with this. This is my first time and I've completely lost track of where I was going. Anyway, I think when it comes to anything with this family, you have to understand that everything is relative with them. When your reality as a human being is this, or at least when you were growing up. So my understanding is that this actually is a little bit of an exaggeration of what the British Empire once owned. However, it is very accurate to how much the British Empire once claimed. And when you grow up with this is what the British Empire would have claimed around 1922. So if you were born like Queen Elizabeth and that was your reality, you're not going to have an understanding of the world. Like it's going to be relative. It's all relative. And it's relatively bad, it's relatively bad. Now, this is what the empire looks like as of right now. Um, some of those things, I will be honest with you, some of those things are more claims than actual ownership or whatever you want to call it. But I expect that within the next 5 to 10 years, this map might reduce a bit. One of the things people keep saying is, oh, they lost half the empire. They lost half the empire. No, losing Jamaica, Belize, and other parts of the Caribbean is not half the empire. And I feel like people need to look at something like this when they are trying to understand why there are so many people who are not willing to see the British royalty as ceremonial. Because, one of the things I want to be very clear about is I am not against the idea of a monarchy. If the people of the United Kingdom really, really, really want to have a monarchy, that's fine. What I have a problem with is the rest of the world. And can you imagine, in this day and age, going to some of the places marked on this world and trying to be like, oh, I'm the queen of India, Pakistan, and I think a lot of people don't understand this. I think the family goes out of their way to have you not understand this. The empire is very much alive. So the fight is not over. If you are someone who believes in republicanism, the fight is not over. But it doesn't have to be what it was in the past. But, don't let them forget that this is something that these people aspire to. They believe, like, the idea of manifest destiny. This is where it comes from. So anyway, let's just take a real quick look. We're almost done here today, but I just want to take one more quick look at what we consider broke these days. So I don't know what you think you are when you're broke, but this is what being broke is, okay? This is what being broke is. Let's throw some music in there. These people are broke, guys. I wish I was that kind of broke. Anyway, I'm sorry if this wasn't a little bit more exciting. I promise in the future I will be coming back with better scripts, better planning, better things, everything. I plan to do this about once a week, and hopefully that will mean that I can still bring high quality edits. I would love to take any suggestions you want to talk about, and I am going to be branching out a little bit into other messy things. I'm really looking at anyone who considers themselves so privileged that they're above the law. It starts with the royals, but it doesn't end with them. So that is going to be about it for today. I just wanted to say have a wonderful day, have a wonderful weekend. I wanted to bring up one other really exciting thing, which was I'm an American citizen, for anyone listening that might be from another country. And I am very excited about our news, about our brand new Supreme Court Justice, who is the first Black woman to ever sit on the Supreme Court. And I just want to kind of leave on that sort of thing. I'm super excited about it. I hope you guys are excited too. This is a big deal for women of the world, for people of color of the world. And I hope that this is the beginning of many great things. This is what progress looks like. This is, modern civilizations embrace. We embrace everyone. We don't reject. We don't chase people of color out of the country. Right? We don't. Because that's not cool. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit. I have a couple really interesting things coming up that I want to talk about when it comes to the royal family, some modern things that are going on, and um, some other stuff too. One moment. So I am going to leave you guys with, I'm trying to find a video that saw the other day that was just amazing. See if I can find it. If not, I will leave you something funny. I promise. See if I can find the video. I don't think I'm finding it. If not, I will just go ahead and end this on something good. But I can't find it. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to leave you guys on a fun note. And I absolutely am so glad I did this. I'm so sorry that this was a little bit of a mess. I'm just learning. I've just learned how to use this. Hopefully in the future I'll have a new background and some new videos and all of that. This one's a little short. Maybe in the future it'll be a little bit longer, but I really appreciate you stopping by. I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. And you know what? Let's just end with the beginning. Why not? You guys have a lovely night.